When animating a LEGO video, you first have to make sure you build a good set. Most of these rocky set designs look a lot better from the front than from the back. This scene, as you can see, has no complex design. It's just the stairs and a styrofoam rock wall painted gray. For the scene in Balin's tomb, we put in a lot of shredded tissue paper to give a cluttered and junky feeling to the set. By the way, fun fact, this scene was filmed at the same time as Jim Slack Jones Episode 8. In the part where Pippin throws the skull out of the well, the skull is actually a separate element that was added on later. Color grading was a big factor in this video. For the scene in Balin's tomb, I made the colors more blue. I made the scenes with the Balrog a little more orange. The part where the Fellowship runs into the big hall took a lot of thought. I obviously didn't have a big hall, so I made a miniature instead. My sister and I animated the people on a green screen, then on the computer put them in the miniature hall. I had to cut out the pieces of the hall that the Fellowship ran behind, and paste it back on to make it look like it was in front. I then added an artificial light to Gandalf's staff and Boromir's torch. Sound was also a big thing in this video. I used my shoes to make the footstep sounds. My sister and I had a lot of fun squealing and grunting for the orc noises. Here I used a headlamp with an orange filter to give light to Boromir's torch. The lighting of this scene was interesting. I had a white fill light and a bright orange light underneath. Here I had to match the glow of Boromir's torch to each frame as he moved. Similar to Boromir's torch, I had to put a light onto Gandalf's staff for each frame. I had to do this in different places all through the video. Here's another example of footstep sounds that I used. Then with music.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
In this scene with the falling rock, I had to suspend the rock in midair. I did this with a stack of bricks, which I then cut out on the computer. I then had to have a clear picture without the stack of bricks to put in the empty space that I cut out. I had to make sure the falling stairs shifted smoothly and slowly. A lot of the time I had to prop it up with extra bricks. Here, you'll notice there's no firewall, as seen in the movie, and the Balrog is just popping up out of the ground. I had to put the fire effects in front of the background, but behind the foreground. Using the same technique as when the Fellowship were in the big hall room, I cut out the foreground for each picture. This took a really long time, but now it looks a lot better. Enter the Balrog. The fire of the Balrog was a big task. I had to have it in front and behind him. I had a few lights for this scene. The two big ones were for the fill light. I used a littler one for the orange fiery glow. This scene was difficult because I didn't have a million bricks to make a huge chasm. Because of this, I had to shoot all the shots from one general angle, then all the shots from the other main angle, and then all the shots from the last angle. Then I stitched them all up in the right order. The Balrog's whip was a little difficult. I had a limp orange chain that had to be suspended in the air for multiple frames. The chain on its own wouldn't stay up, so I used a clear wire and orange clay to hold it up. Mr. Balrog, while walking, didn't realize how heavy he was and sometimes fell down.
Okay, the last picture.
We finally finished.
With the pictures. It was a long time after that I finished the editing and we were finally done. In total, this video took about 3 years to finish, counting lots of breaks in between. But now we're done with it and this behind the scenes video. Thanks for watching.